When it comes to mythical creatures in Asia, the most well-known one that surely comes to everyone's mind is the nine-tailed fox, or by its more elegant name, the hulijing. This creature is truly fascinating, as it's not just one country that tells stories about it, but many across Asia, and for that very reason, it is the creature we'll be exploring together today. In the 700s in Japan, a nine-tailed fox transformed into a 16-year-old girl named Wakamo. One day, a group of envoys, dispatched by the 10th emperor, returning from the Tang dynasty to their homeland, encountered Wakamo on their voyage. She beguiled and enchanted them, and before long, they brought her aboard their ship. After arriving in Japan, the nine-tailed fox lived in seclusion for many years, patiently awaiting her moment. In 1090, she reappeared as an abandoned newborn by the roadside. A kindly couple discovered her and adopted her as their daughter, naming her Mizukume. As she grew, Mizukume proved to be extraordinarily intelligent and talented in many fields. She also possessed a beauty that captivated all who saw her. Her fame grew so great that, at just 9 years old, she was summoned by the emperor to recite poetry for him. Because her recitations were so exquisite, the emperor appointed her to serve in his private library as a lady-in-waiting. In the summer of her 18th year, Mizukume gave a performance at her home, showcasing her talents in poetry and music. During the performance, a sudden storm unexpectedly appeared, causing all the candles to go out and plunging everyone into darkness. Suddenly, Mizukume's body began to emit a radiant light that illuminated the entire room. Everyone was astonished and overwhelmed by what had just happened. They believed that Mizukume must have been a saint or a divine being in her previous life to be capable of such a miracle. From that moment on, she was called Tamamo no Mei. It was also at this time that Emperor Toba fell in love with Tamamo no Mei and made her his consort. Strangely, ever since Tamamo no Mei became empress, Emperor Toba's health began to steadily decline. Eventually, he could no longer even walk. Countless court physicians were summoned to examine him, but all of them shook their heads in confusion, unable to determine the cause of his illness. In a desperate attempt to uncover the root of the emperor's mysterious condition, the court turned to one of the most renowned onmyoji of the time, Abe no Yasunari. Upon his arrival, Yasunari read the emperor's fortune and discovered that he was under the influence of a powerful and ominous fate, one that could very well lead to his death. Following this revelation, tens of thousands of monks and priests were summoned to the palace to pray for the emperor's recovery. Although the monks and priests summoned to pray for the emperor were all highly skilled in spiritual arts, the emperor's condition did not improve. In fact, it only grew worse with each passing day. Once again, Abe no Yasunari was summoned to read the emperor's fortune. This time, he finally uncovered the true cause behind the emperor's unending illness. It was none other than Empress Tamamo no Mei. Abe believed that Empress Tamamo was a demon in disguise, draining the life force from Emperor Toba. This claim made everyone shake their heads in disbelief. No one could accept that the beautiful, talented, and virtuous empress might be a monster. To convince them, Abe proposed a special ritual that would reveal the true form of any demon. If the empress was not a demon, nothing would happen. But if she was, her true nature would be exposed. Reluctantly, the emperor agreed to the idea. He summoned a team to perform the ritual and ordered Empress Tamamo no Mei to attend. At first, nothing unusual occurred. But then suddenly, the empress's body began to change, and several tails started growing from her back. In the end, she revealed her true form, a nine-tailed fox. Realizing her identity had been exposed, Tamamo no Mei fled the palace without leaving a trace. Not long after, strange rumors began to spread in the Nasu region of Shimotsuki province. Women and children were mysteriously disappearing. The Council of Sorcerers suspected that this was the work of Tamamo no Mei and decided it was time to eliminate the demon once and for all. As a result, 80,000 elite warriors were summoned to capture her. Leading the army were the brothers Kazusa no Suke and Miura no Suke. The magic of the nine-tailed fox was incredibly powerful. Even when the army managed to track her down, she always managed to escape, using her sorcery to confuse and bewitch the soldiers, making it impossible to catch her. The troops grew increasingly exhausted and demoralized, as all their traps and strategies proved useless. Refusing to accept defeat, the brothers Kazusa no Suke and Miura no Suke threw themselves into training and continued to follow the trail of the nine-tailed fox. One night, Miura no Suke had a strange dream. In it, he saw an extraordinarily beautiful woman weeping and begging for her life. Recognizing this as one of Tamamo no Mei's illusions, he coldly refused her plea. Sure enough, the very next day, they finally found Tamamo no Mei. Wasting no time, Miura no Suke shot 2 arrows, one into her side and the other into her neck. Seizing the moment, Kazusa no Suke rushed in and struck her down with his sword, ending the life of the nine-tailed fox. Though her body was destroyed, her spirit fused with a stone. This stone became cursed, bringing death to anyone who touched it. It was named Seisho Seki, the Killing Stone, or the Death Stone. Later on, a Buddhist monk came to the stone to listen to the thoughts and regrets of the nine-tailed fox. Moved by her story, The monk performed a ritual to help her spirit find peace and finally pass on. This marks the end of the tale of the nine-tailed fox in Japan. However, this is not the full story of her existence. Where did she come from? Is Japan the only place with legends about her? In truth, the nine-tailed fox is not unique to Japan. She appears in many other cultures and mythologies across Asia.